Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin is still playing out this bullish breakout in the short term, the price is running into the final significant area of resistance before potentially breaking out to new all-time highs. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, as well as Ethereum, which is now running into critical short-term resistance, and Solana, which is now breaking out from this new bullish pattern. So I'll be talking about all of that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just taking a quick look at some Bitcoin ETF news today, because once again, just on the 8th of February, on Thursday, we had a massive amount of inflows coming into the Bitcoin ETFs, causing a lot of buying pressure. And this chart, by the way, is showing all of the net flows. So that's all of the inflows and outflows factoring in together. And we're left with a total net inflow of around 8.6K Bitcoin coming into the Bitcoin ETFs just on Thursday. And as I said in my last video, that was the third biggest day for the Bitcoin ETFs, the third biggest amount of new buying pressure from the Bitcoin ETFs in terms of net flows. But if we're looking at the numbers for Friday, this is another massive day for the spot Bitcoin ETFs. In fact, Friday was even bigger than the inflows that we saw on Thursday, causing a lot more buying pressure. Because as we can see here from BitMEX research, we can see around $540 million of net inflow entered into the spot Bitcoin ETF. So this is the total inflow minus any outflows from, for example, GBTC or the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And so even when you factor in any outflows from Grayscale, which basically means selling pressure from Grayscale, even when you factor that in, we're still left with more than $500 million flowing into Bitcoin, buying up Bitcoin in just one single day, just on Friday. And in Bitcoin terms, this was around 11,400 Bitcoin bought up by the spot Bitcoin ETFs as net flow. So once again, this is total inflow minus any outflow from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And keep in mind, right now, only 900 Bitcoin is being mined per day. And in just a couple of months from now, at the next Bitcoin halving, only 450 Bitcoin will be mined per day and added to the circulating supply. And so obviously, if we're seeing over 11,000 Bitcoin bought up by the Bitcoin ETFs just in one single day, this is a big deal for Bitcoin. And if this continues, this will quickly lead to a major supply shock, squeezing the price massively to the upside in the coming months and years. But anyway, getting into the Bitcoin charts today, looking at the weekly Bitcoin chart. And right now, as of recording this video, we can see the price of Bitcoin is running into the all-important golden pocket area of resistance on the weekly time frame, sitting in between around 48,000 to around 50,000. And this is when we're taking a look at the Fibonacci retracement tool drawn from the all-time high down to the bear market bottom on the linear settings. Once again, it places the golden pocket at 48 to 50K. And in case you're new to all of this, the golden pocket, which is the area in between the 61.8% Fibonacci level and the 65% retracement level, that area right there is the most significant Fibonacci area on the chart. And on top of that, we've also previously found a lot of resistance around this exact price range in between around 48 to 50K. And so basically, this is the final significant area of resistance between the current price and the all-time high. And now, obviously, we do have some other short-term resistance levels between the price and the all-time high. For example, the 78.6% Fibonacci level is sitting at around 57 to 58K, which could act as a bit of resistance. But the 78.6% Fibonacci level is not as significant as the golden pocket. And so basically, if we see a confirmed breakout above the golden pocket, so if we see weekly candle closes above $50,000, then we will likely see the price of Bitcoin return up towards the all-time high within the coming weeks or months after that. Because if we're looking at the speed where the price dropped from the all-time high down towards this area to 48 to 50K back in the previous bull market top, that happened over around 3 to 4 weeks, so in the span of around 1 month. And typically, the price moves fast in the directions where it also previously moved fast. So for example, if we dropped very quickly in this price range right here, we typically also see a quick move to the upside if we're going in the other direction during that same price range. And so obviously more recently, over the last couple of months, we've actually seen somewhat of a consolidation in the price of Bitcoin, which has also occurred right where we previously saw a consolidation in the price of Bitcoin. But once we finally confirm a breakout above around 50,000 once again, then we could likely quickly see a move up towards the all-time high within the coming weeks or months after we first confirm a breakout above 50,000. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, right now the price of Bitcoin is still playing out that volatile move to the upside, which I've been talking about every day over the last 4 days or so, because basically this Bollinger Band indicator on the 3-day Bitcoin chart has been squeezing together, which has dropped the Bollinger Band width indicator to the downside, which basically indicates a very volatile move coming very soon. And so, like I said, over the last few days, this has been playing out exactly as expected. We're now seeing that volatile move that I talked about around 4 days ago. And typically, at least based on these previous examples, this volatile move usually lasts around 1 to 2 weeks and usually lasts around 20 to 30% in either direction. And obviously, in this case, it's clearly playing out in the bullish direction. And so if we're measuring, for example, a 20% move from where we roughly started this volatile move, 20% move will take us up towards around $51,000, and a 30% move will take the price of Bitcoin up towards around $55,000. And so once again, simply based on some of these previous examples, we could end up seeing the price of Bitcoin trading well above $50,000 within the next 1 to 2 weeks if history simply repeats. And so, of course, that would also mean a possible breakout above this golden pocket within the next few weeks if this signal continues to play out like what we've seen previously. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, of course, as I've talked about over the last few days, since all the way back down here, obviously that previous bearish divergence is well and truly invalidated by seeing a strong breakout here in the daily Bitcoin RSI. And now the daily Bitcoin RSI at the moment is indeed entering into overbought territories, which means in the immediate short term, we're getting a little bit overheated here in the price of Bitcoin. But it's important to understand that previously, if you're looking at the RSI on the daily time frame, of course, we could go further into overbought territories. That's always a possibility. And so it's just important to understand that even though the RSI is now overbought on the daily time frame, that does not guarantee that we're definitely at a top right now and we're about to crash. Because once again, if you took that same example back here, the RSI was overbought right around here, and we actually saw a major pump not long after that. And so it's also important to pay attention to momentum in the market. And right now, if we're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, this is currently showing a lot of bullish momentum. And if we're taking a quick look at the DXY, also known as the US dollar index, over the last half a week or so, as I've been saying, this has recently been experiencing a slight dip back to the downside. And so, of course, if that bearish move continues in the DXY, if we see a larger bearish move play out in the DXY, that would be a further bullish signal for Bitcoin and crypto. Because typically when the DXY is bearish, that is usually bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And now obviously it's not a 100% perfect accurate indicator, but a lot of the time it is very accurate overall. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, as I've been talking about since all the way back down here at around 42 to 43,000, we have this bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern, which has already successfully broken out to the upside, confirming this bullish price target in play, which is sitting at around 48.8K. And once again, I've been talking about this basically every single day since all the way back down here near the breakout. And so obviously, if you've taken this trade in the price of Bitcoin, you've done very well so far. And as of right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin to that price target still has around a 3% move higher before we officially complete this pattern and hit the price target. And also at roughly around 49,000, we should have some short-term resistance based on previous resistance back here at this candle wick high at around 49,000. And obviously we have that major area of resistance in between 48 to 50K here on the weekly time frame. But if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, just recently, we've broken out above the 78.6% Fibonacci level of resistance, which was sitting at around 46.8K. And I did mention that in my last video here on the channel. And since then, we've seen a successful retest of that level. And we're now actually finding support along around 46.8K, which is good news. Anytime where we flip previous resistance into new support, that is bullish price structure. And so right now, that is the short-term level of support to pay attention to. Once again, around 46.8K to 47K acting as support. And in a more bearish scenario, let's just say if we confirm to break back below around 46.8K, then in that case, the next important area of support is this area sitting in between around 45,000 to 45.4K. And once again, we have that major area of resistance between 48,000 and 50,000, as I mentioned earlier. And now that it's the weekend, obviously the Bitcoin ETFs are not trading because the US stock market is closed over the weekend, which means we don't have all of that extra buying or selling pressure from the Bitcoin ETFs. And also typically on exchanges, volume is lower on the weekends, which means usually over the weekends, we see more boring price action, nothing too significant. And so we're most likely going to see a bit of a consolidation perhaps over this weekend. And then as soon as Monday comes around, we could end up seeing another major move. And if you want to take these trades in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take those trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And also right now, Bitflex is running an exclusive Apple Watch Series 9 giveaway if you use the link down below this video to make a Bitflex account. And all you need to do to enter this giveaway to be in the running for a brand new Apple Watch Series 9 is simply make a Bitflex account, once again using the link down below this video, because only that link can enter you into this giveaway, and then simply deposit at least $100 worth of crypto and make just one trade on Bitflex on the derivatives market, and that will enter you in the running for this brand new Apple Watch Series 9 giveaway. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trade, you might as well get set up ready to go on one of those exchanges using those links down below this video if you want to get those extra bonuses on Bybit or enter this giveaway over at Bitflex. But anyway, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and what we can see is a small amount of liquidity above the current price, sitting at around 49,000 to 49.1k. And as for short-term liquidity to the downside, we do have this area right here in between around 46.5k to 46.7k. And below that area, we also have more liquidity down towards around 44.2k to 44.4k. And in case you're new to this and you're wondering what this actually means for the price of Bitcoin, basically Bitcoin usually gets attracted towards where there's most liquidity. And so some of these liquidity levels can act as some short-term price targets for the price of Bitcoin, depending on if you're leaning more bullish or more bearish. But once again, we also need to pay attention to other levels of support and resistance and the momentum in the market right now. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, the daily Ethereum RSI is getting very close to potentially invalidating this previous bearish divergence. But obviously, as I've also been talking about almost every day over the last 1 week or so, the daily Ethereum MACD has already confirmed a bullish cross. It's flipped bullish and is now showing bullish momentum. And so even though we have not yet seen a breakout in the RSI, of course, the momentum right now is clearly bullish. And obviously, we're also playing out that short-term bullish breakout here on the 6-hour time frame, as I've been talking about every single day since all the way back down here at around 2.3k. And so once again, as I've been talking about since all the way back down here, we have a bullish price target in play, which is sitting at around 2580. And so obviously anyone who longed this move right here entered a long position anywhere near this breakout, like myself, as I mentioned here on the channel, all the way back down here. Obviously the long positions have been doing very well so far over the last few days. So congrats if you took this trade. But if you missed this trading opportunity, there's potentially a new opportunity, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, quickly talking about the fact that the price of ETH is currently running into a bit of short-term resistance, which is sitting at around 2490 to 2.5k. And so personally, with my long position that I've been talking about since all the way back down here, I've taken a small amount of profits off the table out of that short-term leveraged long position right at around 2,500. But remember, that's only talking about that short-term trade, not my long-term holdings, and it's only a small amount of the trade that I've closed. And I've also got my stop loss for that leveraged long position in profits already. So even in the worst case scenario, I've taken a small amount of profits and I'll still close that trade in profits, even in the worst case scenario. But I have the remainder of the trade still open in case we continue further to the upside towards this price target, and right at around this price target, just before the price target, I will close a significant amount of that short-term leveraged long position. But once again, right now we're currently running into a bit of short-term resistance, and if we see a breakout above 2.5k with some strong confirmation, then in that case we also have some more short-term resistance at around 2590. And as for short-term support, in case we actually see some sort of pullback or rejection here, then in that case, I would expect support in this price range sitting in between around 2390 to around 2430. And now, if you're new to the channel, if you've only just found my videos and you missed this trading opportunity altogether, do not worry, because right now there's potentially a brand new opportunity that we could take, and that is on the price of Solana here on the 8-hour time frame, which is now breaking out above critical resistance. Because here on the 8-hour time frame, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, we have that all-important golden pocket area of resistance sitting in between around $105 to $107. And we've now seen an 8-hour candle close above $107, which technically confirms the breakout to the upside. And so right now, this breakout will only invalidate if we see a confirmed break back below the golden pocket. So if we see candle closes back below around $105, then in that scenario, that would invalidate the breakout, invalidate this pattern, and invalidate this price target. But as of right now, considering we're now breaking out and we have confirmed that breakout with at least one candle close, this now technically confirms this inverse head and shoulders pattern in play, which is a bullish pattern as we've just seen for the price of Bitcoin. And so this sets up a bullish price target based on this pattern right here, which is sitting at around $133 to $134 here for the price of Solana. And so from the point of the breakout to that price target, we're talking around a 25% move to the upside. And so far, the price has already moved a couple of percent to the upside. And so from the current price, at least as of recording this video, to that price target, that's still possibly a 23% move to the upside to the price target. And so in terms of the risk to reward, of course, there's no such thing as zero risk when you're opening a new trade. So the risk to reward right now, the possible risk is, of course, an invalidation here. And so if we have a stop loss just below the point of invalidation, that would take a small loss on this trade. But the potential reward is obviously much bigger than the potential risk. So obviously we're risking perhaps around, if we're measuring from the current price, we're risking around, say, 4% to the downside. Whereas from the current price, once again, the potential reward to that price target is around a 23% possible reward if we complete the pattern. And so obviously none of this is personal financial advice because I don't know your personal financial situation, but personally in my situation, just for me, I have begun to open a new long position here for the price of Solana, as you can see right here. Currently, this is only a small position. I do have more buy orders in case we actually retest this level. But basically right now, I am indeed scaling into a long position to trade this move to the upside, as you can see right here on my Bybit account. And so once again, if you want to take these trades in the price of any crypto, then make sure to check out those links down below this video, either Bybit or Bitflex, to get those extra bonuses or enter that giveaway, especially if you're trading crypto anyway. And of course, between the current price and this technical price target, there's also other levels of resistance where the price could potentially reject from. For example, this 78.6% Fibonacci level, which is sitting at around $113 to $114. And above that, based on candle closes, we have some more resistance at $123 and more resistance at around $125, mainly based on previous highs. And if you want to know how you can actually take these trades in the price of any crypto, whether it's going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways, you can profit in all of those cases by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can open and close long positions and short positions to make money if the price is bullish or bearish. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.